stories now. Yeah, right. Well, I'm just in a weird mood tonight that I want to save people's lives. I want to help people that are in trouble. I want to help people that are afraid. I want to help people that are scared for their lives, or somebody's hurting them. I just don't like that. I don't like that. When I get that idea in my head, it really bugs me, because I know how many people and animals right now at this very moment, probably every second of every day, is somebody's out there getting hurt, or some animal's getting hurt. I just, I don't know why they haven't done something about that, because there's things that they can do, but people really need to open their eyes and wake up. And if you know somebody like that, somebody needs to really, somebody that's really harmful, hurting people, you really need to report them. If they're hurting people, if they're hurting your kids, if they're hurting your wife, if you live in an apartment next door and you hear some guy beating up his wife and you hear them yelling, you can hear him hitting her, call the cops. Don't put up with that. Don't say, oh, it's their business. Oh, I'm not going to get involved. That's bullshit. That makes me mad, because you better get involved. There was many times that I needed help and nobody helped me, not even a neighbor. One time I was living with one guy and he literally choked me. He put his hands on my throat and he choked me. And when I got up, I screamed for help. When he did let me go before he choked me all the way, because I guess he saw that I was gasping for air. It looked like I must have been turning blue, I think. And I got it, and when he let go, I screamed for help as loud as I could scream. And my neighbor upstairs, she did call the cops, and I was so grateful to her. And the next day, I was outside and he wasn't there. I was getting ready to move out. She saw me and she was upstairs and she goes on her patio. She goes, hey, are you okay? And I said, well, yeah, I'm okay now. I said, oh, she said, good, because she said, I called the cops last night. And I went, oh, you did? I said, oh, thank you so much. I said, I really needed somebody to help me, and that I couldn't get the phone because he pulled it out of the wall. Guys like that like to pull phones out of the wall, the whole cord. Well, back then it was like phones that were plugged into the wall. And the whole phone was plugged into the wall, basically. And, he pulled the whole thing right out of the wall. I ripped it right out of the wall, and I couldn't get to a phone. And I actually went running outside, and I was, and I just went out and hid in the bushes for a long time outside. Really hid in the bushes, seriously. That's how scared I was. I mean, people just really screw you up like that. So, the best thing to do is just get away from them. And there's better people out there. You will meet somebody that's better. To stay away from the same type of person. If you're looking for the same type of person, then they're going to end up in the same type of mess over and over and over again. You have to look for somebody totally different, out of your league, that you've never looked for before, and that might be the right person for you. Believe me. Because there's a certain type of guy I used to always choose to go out with, and that certain type of guy was always the guy that was an abuser. Go figure, huh? So I finally got away from the certain type of guy and found out that they're not all like that. So, anyway, this has been a long conversation about that, I know, but it's just something that I take deeply in my heart, and it helps me to talk about it too. It helps me a lot. It's always helped me a lot to talk about it. My bestest friends and boyfriends and whatever, I've always been the best people to talk to about it, because at least they hear you and they listen, and you get it off your chest, and makes you feel better, like you're not so alone in this world, because you're not. You're not alone, because there's a lot of people like you going through the same thing. So, yeah, you just really got to watch out for the cuckoos out there. There's lots of them. And you never know, because they can look so sweet on the outside and be a complete jerk, Like they're two-faced, too. Like the relationship starts out, they're so nice. They're extremely nice. Whenever a guy is extremely nice, that's the kind of guy in about 3 months turns into be the opposite, okay? He goes from extremely nice to the opposite, because that type of man can only hide the niceness, he can only do it for so long because he's faking it. Okay? He's faking it. He doesn't really love you. He says he loves you, all blah, 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 all this other stuff. It's all fake. He's faking it. Because if he turns mean after 3 months, the whole thing was a lie to begin with. And he doesn't really love you. He's just using you for whatever. Okay? He doesn't love you at all. Okay? He never did. And because those kind of guys can only fake the niceness for 3 months. Once they get what they want and they got it, then the real person comes out. Okay? They can only hide it for so long. So it's fake, very fake, and that's another clue right there. You want to watch out for that. So, don't move in with anybody right away. If you're not sure about the guy, just don't move in with him. Make sure you stay in a separate house until you really know that guy. I mean, really know him. I mean, they used to do in the old days. They used to always say, date your partner for at least a year before you even think about moving in together. Date him for a year so you know that person, because you really don't know that person. And if you're living in the same house, it's harder to get away. If you have a separate house, at least you have your own house, you have your own car, you have your own job. No sweat off your back. You're still self-sufficient. It's easier to get away. When they take that self-sufficiency away, they take your car away, they take your job away, they take your livelihood away, they take everything away. It's like you're leaving you bare naked in the desert, because then you're just helpless as a 2-month-old baby. So you really got to remember that they play on that, and they will get you down to that point mentally. They will put you into that place, a mental state where you can't do anything for yourself anymore, and you're just totally helpless, and you're just sitting there like, I can't do anything. What am I going to do? How am I going to go? I can't do anything. But even if you don't have those things anymore, you still have to keep your self-pride, your awareness, and you have to keep strong to make sure that person doesn't take advantage of you. Any person. Even if they're a nice guy, they can end up taking advantage of you and mentally treating you bad if they see that you're letting that up. You can't let up. You have to stay strong in front of them at all times. If you show any kind of weakness at all, they play on that weakness, and they will play on it until you're so weak that you can barely move anymore. And that's what they want. That's how they control you. That's how the government's controlling everybody right now. They're playing on our weaknesses. Look at all the Americans standing up for their rights right now. Not too many. Seems like everybody's sitting in their living rooms watching TV and playing what is that? PlayStation 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I mean, that's what people are doing. They're sitting in their houses playing with their games, watching TV, not even thinking about what the government's really doing to everybody and what's going on. Nobody's standing up for themselves at all. They're not doing a thing. We're the only country that's not fighting, back right now. All these other countries, you see, all these other countries are all fighting back. They're all getting out on the streets, and they're fighting their governments. And what is that, Greenland or someplace? Just took the government, told them to get the hell out of town. Get on your horse and ride out of town, like now, buddy. And they did. And they got him out of there. So, it takes the people to fight back. And if you don't, if you sit there and you just, they've dumbed America down. They call it dumbed America down. Where they gave them all these little toys and all these little things to dumb you down, to make you stupid and make you more controllable. And then they feed you poison to kill you. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. So, it's just... It's a whole plan. It's a plan that they have, and bad people do it this way. That's how they play their game. They play their game. They make you really weak so that they can take control over you. And we're just a bunch of slaves. We're all a bunch of slaves to their corporations and to their business, and paying our bills and stuff. I mean, God gave us this planet for free. Okay, for free. You shouldn't be paying for water. You shouldn't be paying for electricity. You shouldn't be paying for a house you live in. You shouldn't be paying to eat food. You have those things are necessity survival things. God gave it to everybody for free. It's all on this planet for free. Everywhere you look, there's wood, there's water. It's free. Okay, it's free. It should be free, and people can teach you how to make these things like electricity and stuff for free, where you don't have to pay any bills, right? You don't have to pay anybody any money to make these things. I mean, if everybody could build their own house, that'd be great, because you just, get some property, which you shouldn't have to pay for property. And all this government-owned land, think about it. Government-owned land, why should they own it? God owns it, okay? God owns it. The government does not own it. They think they're God, okay? They think they're your God. They do not own shit, okay? Sorry about the language, but they don't own nothing. They don't own squat, okay? This is God's world, God's planet. He made this planet. He made us. He made everything on this planet for us. He gave it to us for free. We are His children. He gave it to us for free. Mankind has made a bill and a price on everything. And they are nobody. I mean, they're just greedy, money-sucking cowards that play games with the people and control the people. And, these, like Rockefellers and Rothschilds and the Medici family and all the rest of them, these guys are sitting on trillions and probably, whatever, it's above trillions. They probably got more than that. They got so much money in their accounts, they got enough money to feed all of Africa. Seriously. They got enough money to feed the whole continent of Africa, in their pockets. So does a pope, right? And what do they need all that money for? They don't even need it. In a whole lifetime, they don't need that much money for themselves or for their families to come. And they teach each other, they teach their children to do the same thing they did, and so on and so on. And they've been doing this before Jesus Christ even came on the scene. They were doing this before, or Yeshua, they were doing this before him, before he even came on the scene. They were here. It's been going on for thousands of years, or a few thousands of years. They've been running this planet. Basically running the planet. So you gotta go way, way back in history and find out what the real truth is of this whole situation. And then you can find out what's really going on now. And everything they taught us in school is what they wanted us to do for jobs, to work for them so they could get money off of us. And all those taxes and all stuff, taxing, we shouldn't be taxed either. And they want to tax us for breathing? Excuse me? If they start taxing me for breathing, I'm going to shove that in somebody's face. I'll tell you what. I hope I don't end up in jail because I'm going to be really pissed off then, But I'm already pissed off. I got these huge bills. I mean, for what? It should be for free, okay? So, just the whole thing's ridiculous, really. And a lot of people, when they start waking up, then maybe our country will start fighting back. But until they wake up, nobody's going to fight back. Everybody's just going to sit there and play with their toys and ignore everything that's going on around them. Just watch my football game on TV. I don't care what's going on. Give me a beer, I mean, what kind of, and they got our whole country on drugs. And if it's not illegal drugs, it's pharmaceutical drugs. Have you noticed that they got everybody on some kind of drug? Why? To control you. Get off the drugs. Get off the bad food. Get away from the bad food. Try to start your own farm if you can. I mean, if you got the money and you can afford it, yeah, start your own farm. Make your own food. That's the healthiest food you can ever eat. And also grow your own herbs, because herbs are also good for all kinds of diseases too, to keep you from getting cancer and stuff like that. So there's so much stuff you got to learn out there. It's there. It's available for you to learn if people just want to learn it. So I